From humble beginnings to historic dreams. Imagine growing up in a world that constantly tells you, you don't belong here. For Barack Obama, that wasn't just a hypothetical, it was reality. Born on August 4, 1961, in Honolulu, Hawaii, to a Kenyan father and an American mother, young Barack's life was an intricate tapestry of cultures, challenges, and aspirations. From the very start, the world he entered was one of contrasts, rich in diversity, yet full of societal barriers. Even as a child, Obama's curiosity was unstoppable. He questioned everything, from the stories of his parents' heritage to the injustices he saw in society. His early life wasn't a smooth ride. There were long periods where he lived apart from his father, and economic constraints meant he had to navigate a world that tested resilience at every turn. But even in these moments, the foundation of his future leadership was quietly forming. School became more than just a place of learning, it became a stage where Barack learned the power of perspective. He wasn't the only different kid in class, but he observed, listened, and slowly began understanding how to connect across boundaries. His experiences in Hawaii, coupled with time spent in Indonesia during his mother's second marriage, gave him an unparalleled global outlook, an early glimpse into what would later define his presidency. The ability to understand multiple viewpoints, cultures, and struggles. Yet, the real spark of ambition came from within. Obama didn't just dream of success. He dreamt of impact. He saw how ordinary people faced systemic issues, and he understood that real change required courage, strategy, and empathy. He excelled academically, eventually moving on to Occidental College in Los Angeles, and later to Columbia University in New York City. Each step wasn't just about personal achievement. It was about preparation for a journey that would eventually capture the world's attention. But what truly set him apart wasn't just his intellect. It was his ability to listen, to connect, and to inspire. Even as a young man navigating the complexities of race, identity, and ambition, Obama was quietly building the skills that would make him a transformational leader. His story is a reminder that greatness doesn't appear overnight. It is carefully crafted through resilience, reflection, and relentless pursuit of a vision that transcends oneself. And this is only the beginning. The path from a curious, mixed heritage child to the first African American President of the United States is a journey filled with challenges, victories, and lessons that continue to inspire millions. The making of a change maker. Before Barack Obama became a household name, he was quietly shaping his vision of leadership through action, not headlines. After completing his studies at Columbia University, he moved to Chicago, drawn to a city grappling with deep social and economic divides. Here, he immersed himself in community organizing, working on the front lines with people struggling to access basic necessities, jobs, healthcare, and education. It was grueling work, often thankless, but it planted the seeds of his lifelong commitment to public service. In these neighborhoods, Obama observed more than hardship. He saw resilience, creativity, and the untapped potential of communities too often overlooked. He learned a crucial lesson early. Real change doesn't come from top-down mandates, it comes from listening, understanding, and empowering people to drive solutions themselves. This philosophy would become a cornerstone of his political career. His journey then led him to Harvard Law School, where he distinguished himself not just as a brilliant student, but as a trailblazer. In 1990, he became the first black president of the Harvard Law Review, an achievement that catapulted him into the national spotlight. Yet, even at Harvard, Obama never lost sight of his mission. He balanced rigorous academic demands with a passion for mentoring others, engaging in public service, and understanding the complex dynamics of law, politics, and society. Returning to Chicago after law school, he continued his work as a community organizer and later taught constitutional law at the University of Chicago. This period was crucial. It bridged his academic knowledge with real-world experience, equipping him with the tools to navigate both policy and people. His reputation as a thoughtful, empathetic leader began to grow, earning him respect across communities and political circles. By the mid-1990s, Obama had cultivated a unique blend of skills, intellectual rigor, grassroots experience, and the ability to communicate with authenticity and clarity. He had seen firsthand the challenges Americans faced and understood the nuances of creating meaningful, lasting change. These experiences were more than stepping stones. They were the foundation of a leader prepared to enter the political arena with purpose, vision, and a commitment to unite rather than divide. The stage was now set. Barack Obama was ready to take his first official step into politics. But what came next would not just define his career, it would redefine the nation's expectations of leadership. Rising through the political ranks, by the early 1990s, Barack Obama had already begun carving a path that would change the course of American politics. After earning his law degree from Harvard, where he became the first black president of the prestigious Harvard Law Review, Obama's intellect was undeniable, but it was his sense of purpose that truly set him apart. He wasn't chasing power for the sake of status. He was chasing impact, seeking to address systemic inequalities that often went unnoticed by those in positions of influence. Returning to Chicago, he dove into community organizing, working with local residents to improve housing, education, and employment opportunities in some of the city's most underprivileged neighborhoods. These experiences weren't glamorous, and they certainly weren't easy. He faced bureaucratic red tape, political pushback, and at times, public skepticism. But Obama thrived in this environment. He learned the delicate art of coalition building, how to unite people from different backgrounds toward a common goal. These skills would later become his hallmark on the national stage. In 1996, he took his first official political step, winning a seat in the Illinois State Senate. Obama's approach was different from most politicians. He listened more than he spoke, sought consensus over confrontation, and approached each decision with careful thought and moral clarity. Even then, whispers of his potential for higher office began circulating. His eloquence, authenticity, and ability to connect with voters transcended typical political rhetoric. People weren't just hearing him, they were feeling him. During his tenure in the state Senate, Obama championed ethics reform, healthcare access, and education initiatives. Each policy wasn't merely a legislative victory. It was a reflection of his deep-rooted belief that government should serve the people, not the other way around. He built a reputation as a thoughtful, principled leader, someone unafraid to challenge entrenched systems while remaining committed to unity and progress. These years were the crucible that prepared him for what lay ahead. He had learned the value of patience, strategy, and the power of narrative. More importantly, he had built credibility, not just as a politician, but as a person who could bridge divides in an often polarized environment. By the turn of the millennium, Barack Obama was no longer just a rising figure in Illinois. He was becoming a name that Americans nationwide would soon recognize, a name that would come to symbolize hope, change, and a new era of leadership. A senator emerges, a nation takes notice. By the early 2000s, Barack Obama was no longer just a promising community organizer, he was a rising political force. In 2004, he announced his candidacy for the U.S. Senate from Illinois, a move that many considered ambitious, even audacious, for a relatively young and relatively unknown politician. But Obama had something many seasoned politicians lacked: authenticity. He didn't just speak about change, he had lived it. His message resonated with voters, hungry for a leader who could bridge divides and inspire hope. The campaign trail was intense. Opponents questioned his experience, and the political landscape was crowded with seasoned candidates. Yet, Obama's ability to connect with people on a personal level through his speeches, community visits, and sheer presence set him apart. He emphasized themes that were universally relatable: opportunity, fairness, and the promise of a better future. His famous keynote speech at the 2004 Democratic National Convention would later become a defining moment, not just for his career, but for the national consciousness. In that speech, he spoke of unity, hope, and the enduring values that bind America together. Millions watched, captivated by a young black senator whose words carried a rare mix of intellect, passion, and relatability. It was the moment the country first saw glimpses of a leader capable of transcending traditional political boundaries. His message was simple yet powerful. Change is possible, but it requires courage, persistence, and a belief in the collective good. After winning the Senate seat with overwhelming support, Obama quickly proved himself to be more than just a charismatic figure. He championed ethics reform, expanded health care access, and worked tirelessly to build bipartisan coalitions. His tenure was marked by a commitment to principled leadership, balancing idealism with practical action, a balance few politicians managed to achieve. These years in the Senate weren't just about policy, they were about preparation. Obama honed his skills in negotiation, public speaking, and leadership, laying the groundwork for something far bigger. By addressing complex issues while remaining grounded and approachable, he earned the trust of constituents, colleagues, and the nation at large. By 2007, whispers of a presidential run had transformed into serious speculation. The journey from community organizer to state senator had set the stage for an unprecedented bid for the White House, a campaign that would redefine American politics and inspire millions worldwide. Hope takes center stage, the 2008 campaign. In 2007, Barack Obama stepped onto the national stage with a message that would soon captivate an entire country. Hope. At 46, he announced his candidacy for the presidency, entering a crowded Democratic primary that featured seasoned politicians and heavyweights. Yet, from the very beginning, Obama's campaign was different. It wasn't just about policies or party lines, it was about igniting a sense of possibility, of rewriting the narrative of what American leadership could look like. His words struck a chord. Yes, we can became more than a slogan. It became a rallying cry for millions of Americans disillusioned with the status quo. Obama traveled tirelessly, speaking in small towns and massive arenas alike, connecting with people from all walks of life. He spoke about bridging divides, lifting the marginalized, and restoring faith in the American dream. In every speech, he combined intellect with empathy, presenting not just a plan, but a vision. The campaign was historic in every sense. Obama faced intense scrutiny over his youth, his background, and even his ability to lead. But his response was consistent: authenticity, transparency, and a refusal to play politics as usual. He embraced technology and social media like no candidate before, turning grassroots enthusiasm into a powerful movement. Volunteers across the nation rallied behind him, fueled by a belief that change wasn't just possible, it was inevitable. On June 3, 2008, after a hard-fought primary battle, Barack Obama secured the Democratic nomination. He had not only defied expectations, but also inspired an entirely new generation to engage in the political process. The energy was palpable. Crowds surged at rallies, donations poured in from everyday citizens, and the phrase "change we can believe in" became synonymous with his candidacy. Facing Republican nominee John McCain, Obama's campaign continued to break barriers. He emphasized unity in a polarized nation, focusing on economic recovery, healthcare reform, and ending long-standing wars abroad. His message resonated deeply across demographics, from young voters energized by his charisma to seniors drawn to his thoughtful pragmatism. When November 4, 2008 arrived, the results were historic. Barack Obama was elected as the 44th President of the United States, making history as the first African American to hold the office. It wasn't just a political victory, it was a symbolic triumph of hope over cynicism, of unity over division, and of vision over convention. The world watched as a new chapter in American leadership unfolded, led by a man who had always believed that ordinary people could achieve extraordinary change, transforming vision into action. The first term. When Barack Obama took the oath of office on January 20, 2009, the nation was at a crossroads. The economy was in freefall. Wars abroad were dragging on, and public trust in government had never been lower. Yet, Obama entered the Oval Office not with cynicism, but with determination and a steadfast belief that leadership could be both principled and effective. His first term was defined by bold decisions, calculated risks, and a commitment to tangible change. One of his earliest and most significant challenges was the financial crisis. Banks were failing, unemployment was rising, and the American dream seemed out of reach for millions. Obama acted decisively, implementing stimulus, packages and financial reforms aimed at stabilizing the economy. These weren't just policy measures, they were lifelines for everyday Americans, demonstrating that leadership could respond to crisis with both urgency and vision. Healthcare reform became another defining battle. With the Affordable Care Act, Obama aimed to provide millions of uninsured citizens with access to medical coverage. The initiative faced fierce opposition, yet he navigated complex political terrain with persistence, negotiation, and an ability to communicate directly with the public. By turning healthcare into a national conversation, he reshaped the way Americans viewed the role of government in ensuring basic human needs. Foreign policy, too, marked his first term. Obama sought to end the Iraq War responsibly, shifted focus to Afghanistan, and emphasized diplomacy over unilateral action. His approach was nuanced, balancing military strategy with international collaboration and soft power initiatives. Even in the face of global uncertainty, he demonstrated that measured, principle-driven leadership could command respect on the world stage. Beyond policy, Obama's first term symbolized a shift in leadership style. He emphasized transparency, innovation, and engagement, particularly with younger generations. Through speeches, town halls, and social media, he fostered a sense of inclusion, making citizens feel like active participants in shaping the nation's future. His charisma and calm under pressure became a hallmark, instilling confidence even in turbulent times. The first term wasn't without obstacles. Partisan gridlock, media scrutiny, and global crises tested his resolve. But through every challenge, Obama remained focused on a central belief that leadership is not just about holding power, but about inspiring action, fostering hope, and creating lasting impact. By the end of these 4 years, the foundation was set for a legacy defined not merely by office held, but by the transformative vision he pursued relentlessly. Second term, leading through change and challenge. When Barack Obama began his second term in January 2013, expectations were higher than ever. The first term had delivered historic reforms, but the nation still faced deep political divisions, economic uncertainties, and ongoing global challenges. Obama's approach in this period was defined by experience, resilience, and a determination to turn lessons from the past into meaningful action for the future. One of the most significant achievements of his second term was his continued focus on economic recovery. Unemployment rates were steadily declining, and the housing market began to stabilize. Obama emphasized job creation, infrastructure development, and support for small businesses, ensuring that the benefits of recovery reached everyday Americans. His leadership demonstrated a rare balance between pragmatism and vision, showing that economic policy could be both effective and inclusive. Healthcare remained a cornerstone of his agenda. Building on the Affordable Care Act, Obama worked to expand coverage, improve accessibility, and address systemic inequities in healthcare delivery. His efforts weren't just bureaucratic victories, they fundamentally reshaped how millions of Americans access and perceive healthcare, leaving a lasting impact on public welfare. Foreign policy during this term also reflected strategic thinking and careful diplomacy. Obama navigated complex situations in the Middle East, including military interventions, peace negotiations, and counterterrorism operations. He strengthened alliances while emphasizing the importance of multilateral cooperation. In doing so, he reinforced America's role on the global stage while striving to minimize unnecessary conflict. Beyond policy, the second term highlighted Obama's commitment to social progress and equality. He championed initiatives addressing climate change, education, and LGBTQ+ rights. His support for marriage equality and environmental protection reflected a broader vision, leadership that embraces both justice and sustainability. He combined careful decision-making with the ability to inspire hope, encouraging Americans to see the nation not only as it was, but as it could be. Challenges remained. Partisan divides and legislative gridlock tested his patience and skill. Yet Obama's calm, measured approach, his ability to communicate with clarity, empathy, and authenticity allowed him to maintain credibility and influence. By the end of his second term, Barack Obama had solidified a legacy of thoughtful leadership, transformative policy, and a renewed sense of possibility in American politics. His second term wasn't just about governing, it was about showing that vision, resilience, and hope could coexist with practical action, leaving an indelible mark on the nation and the world. Beyond the Oval Office, legacy in motion. When Barack Obama stepped down from the presidency in January 2017, he left behind more than policies and speeches. He left a lasting legacy that continues to shape the nation and the world. Even outside the Oval Office, Obama's influence remained powerful, rooted in the principles that had defined his leadership: hope, unity, and the pursuit of progress. Post-presidency, Obama focused on empowering the next generation. Through the Obama Foundation, he has promoted civic engagement, leadership development, and global citizenship. His initiatives aim to inspire young leaders to tackle challenges in their communities, echoing the same belief that guided his early days as a community organizer. Real change starts from the ground up. Whether it's mentoring, providing resources for local activism, or fostering international dialogue, Obama's work reflects a deep commitment to shaping a better future. His influence extends into politics as well. Obama continues to be a voice of reason, offering guidance on policy, democracy, and global issues. His speeches, written works, and public appearances reflect a nuanced understanding of leadership, emphasizing collaboration, empathy, and strategic thinking. He reminds the world that progress is possible even in polarized times, and that principled action can leave a lasting impact. Culturally, Obama has become a symbol of possibility and inspiration. His story from a mixed heritage child navigating identity and adversity to the first African-American president of the United States resonates worldwide. His presidency challenged long-held assumptions about leadership, breaking barriers while inspiring millions to believe in their own potential. Through memoirs, interviews, and public discourse, Obama continues to influence how people think about politics, justice, and civic responsibility. Globally, Obama's leadership left tangible marks. The Iran nuclear deal, climate agreements like the Paris Accord, and a renewed emphasis on diplomacy showcased a commitment to measured, principled global engagement. While some policies remain debated, the framework of cooperation, multilateralism, and moral leadership remains a key part of his enduring legacy. Barack Obama's post-presidency life is a testament to the idea that leadership does not end with office. His journey demonstrates that influence, vision, and dedication can extend far beyond titles, inspiring generations to act with courage, empathy, and purpose. His legacy is not just in what he accomplished as president, but in the ripple effects of hope and change he continues to create around the world. The man behind the leader, family, values, and vision. Barack Obama's story isn't just about politics or history, it's about the values and principles that shaped the man himself. Behind the world stage, behind the historic speeches and landmark policies, lies a story of family, resilience, and unwavering commitment to personal integrity. His journey reminds us that leadership begins at home, and that the foundation of a strong leader is often forged in quiet, everyday choices. At the heart of Obama's life is his family. His wife, Michelle Obama, isn't just a partner, but a force in her own right and equal in vision, strength, and purpose. Together, they raised two daughters, Malia and Sasha, instilling in them values of empathy, responsibility, and curiosity. Balancing the demands of the presidency with family life was never easy. Yet Obama consistently prioritized presence, guidance, and love. His relationship with his family showcased a rare side of leadership, one rooted in humility, partnership, and accountability. Beyond family, Obama's values integrity, empathy, and perseverance shaped every decision he made. From his early days as a community organizer to the highest office in the land, he approached challenges with thoughtfulness and moral clarity. He listened before he spoke, sought common ground before conflict, and always reminded himself that leadership is service, not self-interest. These principles guided him through crises, political battles, and the immense pressures of being a symbol of change. Obama's story also emphasizes the importance of lifelong learning. Despite his historic achievements, he remained curious, reflective, and open to new perspectives. Whether reading, engaging in dialogue, or mentoring young leaders, he modeled the idea that growth never ends and that true leadership requires constant evolution. Perhaps most inspiring is his commitment to hope and optimism. Even in the face of setbacks, criticism, and division, Obama maintained a belief in the potential of people and the power of collective action. He consistently demonstrated that vision without action is empty, but action without hope is futile. It's this blend of idealism and pragmatism, personal integrity and public service, that makes Barack Obama not just a historical figure, but a timeless example of principled leadership. His life story is a powerful reminder. Greatness is measured not only by achievements, but by the values we uphold, the people we inspire, and the legacy of hope we leave behind. Barack Obama shows that a life lived with purpose, empathy, and courage can transform not just a nation, but the world. Enduring legacy, lessons from a presidency. Barack Obama's journey from a young boy navigating identity and adversity to the 44th President of the United States stands As one of the most remarkable stories in modern history, his legacy is not defined merely by policies or political victories, but by the principles, vision, and inspiration he leaves behind for future generations. One of the most enduring lessons of Obama's life is the power of hope. He demonstrated that even in times of uncertainty, economic turmoil, or social division, a clear vision and belief in collective potential can move nations. His message was simple yet profound. Change is possible, but it requires courage, persistence, and the conviction that ordinary people can achieve extraordinary things. Another cornerstone of his legacy is unity. In a polarized world, Obama emphasized dialogue, understanding, and collaboration. He consistently sought to bridge divides, whether racial, political, or cultural, and showed that leadership is most powerful when it builds connections rather than walls. His presidency was a reminder that meaningful progress comes from empathy and the willingness to listen, not just from authority or power. Obama also leaves a lasting mark through tangible achievements. The Affordable Care Act, economic recovery efforts, progressive foreign policy initiatives, and advocacy for climate action and social justice. Yet beyond legislation, these accomplishments symbolize his deeper approach to governance, thoughtful, principled, and driven by the desire to improve lives. They reflect a leader who understood that impact is measured not by position, but by the positive change one creates. Perhaps most inspiring is the human side of his legacy. Obama taught the world that leadership is compatible with humility, family devotion, and lifelong learning. He balanced immense responsibility with authenticity, showing that even at the highest levels, it's possible to remain grounded, empathetic, and true to one's values. As history looks back, Barack Obama will be remembered not only as a trailblazer, but as a